Hi everyone, my name is Angela Murache, head trainer at Achieve Business Systems. I'm glad you're watching this video. I'll quickly go through what is Oracle Financials, what does it really mean, what does it entail, and to do that we need to start by talking about what is an ERP system. So an ERP system is an enterprise resource software solution that helps the business manage its end-to-end operations. So if we're making something, say for example, when we're a manufacturing shop, we need to procure materials from a vendor, then we need to pay that, then we need to make our product and then sell the product and receive the payment. That's a high level of an end-to-end process. So then an ERP system sits on top of that process, and every one of those transactions on every one of those events gets tracked within this ERP system. Usually there's several different components to it, and here I've listed four of the most commonly found components, and each department or every business area will have one component that they're working on. Now, who are the leading what are the leading solutions in the market? So currently we have Oracle EBS, which is Oracle Business Suite. Oracle also has another leading product, which is Oracle Fusion. It's fairly new, but very powerful solution as well. Then we have SAP, which is a German company. SAP also offers an ERP solution, which is SAP ERP. And Microsoft Dynamics is a Microsoft company. And over the years, they've really improved and added a lot of capability to the solution. So now it's just as competitive as Oracle and SAP. So there's a lot of other different ERP solutions in the market, but these are the leading providers. Oracle EBS, we've said, is an ERP solution. Within that, there's several applications. For our program, we specialize in Oracle Financials, but there's other modules within, or there's other components within that. But in this particular case, we're going to specialize in Oracle Financials. So Oracle EBS ERP has a financial component, it has a human resource, sales and marketing, manufacturing, and projects, among others, but these are the commonly used ones. All right. So within EBS Financials, we have five main modules. Actually, we have five modules. We have General Ledger, which is the most important. Every business transaction that happens in the sub-ledger, and we'll talk about the sub-ledgers here shortly, always gets recorded in the General Ledger. This is where we generate the financials, the financial reports that usually for a public company, that's what you would send to Wall Street, and that's what actually drives the stock price. When we talk about subledger, these are things like accounts payable, accounts receivable. These are things that are happening. These are business events. But then general ledger actually records the business events or the business transactions. For example, if you have a vendor and you bought something from the vendor and you've paid the vendor, or you received an invoice from the vendor or you've paid the vendor, these are events that are happening in your business that get recorded in the subledger, and then they get sent to general ledger for accounting. And don't worry too much about the financial part of it or the accounting part of it. Once you join the program, that's the one thing that we cover is what are the key business processes in as far as financials are concerned. And also we do cover what are the key accounting concepts that you need to understand to even be able to be a financials consultant. The other thing that we also cover in the program are the stocks requirements. So what are for a publicly traded company, a company that has its shares trading on the Wall Street, what are some of the requirements that they have to comply with? So we have something called SOX. So we also go into detail on that and what it entails. So by the time you actually get to talk about Oracle Financials, you'll be well prepared to actually implement a solution. All right. So we'll go into, and this here, like when I say general ledger, it's usually abbreviated as GL, and the same thing, AP, AR, and so forth and so on. Accounts payable, that's where we track our vendors. That's where we enter invoices and payments occur. Then you have accounts payable. This is where you track your customers. This is where you process invoices that go out to the customer. Say, for example, if you're selling a product and you need to bill the customer, then that transaction comes out of receivables. This is where you also track payments that come in from your customer. We have fixed assets. for a big corporation, a lot of times, especially if you think about a manufacturing company, there's a lot of equipment that needs to get used to actually produce your end product. All these are fixed assets, and the reason why it's important to track your fixed assets is because you don't expense them at the time you purchase them. There are some regulations that you can abide with, but the bottom line is that you can expense them over time. So for some assets, depending on the value of the asset, it could be 3 years, it could be 5 years. So that depreciation is what you track, or you use fixed asset to track your asset and also to do the depreciations. And once the asset is fully used, then you can retire it from use. So that way you're no longer depreciating, but you still own the asset. Then you have cash management. Um, this is where you do your reconciliation. So you maintain your bank statements here, and then any cash coming in, any cash going out, at the end of the day, you do your reconciliation. So that's the difference between your payable and your receivable. All that happens within cash management, among other functionalities. So here I'm really going at a very high level on what these things are, but that's the general high level. And on this slide here, I'm going through just a few things like where do you manage your vendors in payables, AP, where do you manage your customers in AR, which is receivables, doing your bank management, managing your bank reconciliation that happens in cash management. And cash management, a lot of times it's mistaken with cost management. So the abbreviation for for cash management is not CM, it's actually CE, which is cash exchange. Uh, CM is cost management module. So that's something to keep in mind there. All right. Then we have recording. Every business event that happens always gets recorded in your general ledger. Now, all these five modules communicate with each other. They have some sort of relation. For example, if you buy a laptop, you'll have bought it from a vendor. Say, for example, if you're buying it from Lenovo, so you have that as your vendor. In payables, they invoice you and you process that invoice in payables, and then once you make your payment and everything is all set, then you'll send your fixed assets into fixed asset module where it gets capitalized and tracked. All this, when you buy your asset, when you pay for your asset, gets accounted for and posted in the general ledger. When you capitalize your asset, it gets tracked and posted in your fixed assets, and then that entry goes into general ledger. Then the same thing, receivables will also send transactions into general ledger. And then we have reconciliations that will happen from receivables and payables that will go into cash management, and everything then ends up in GL. So GL is the heart of the financial module. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into actual system, and I'll show you a view of the application. So that way you can actually get a view of what exactly does the system. All right, so here is, I'm gonna go into payables so you can see. This is where you would maintain your vendors and process your invoices. Like you can see, the options here are a lot different than what we had earlier. So I'm going to show one of the key setups. So once you become a consultant, your area is going to be at the setups. Once you do the setups the very first time, then your work is done. So from there on, everything else that you need to do is just the support going forward. And the one thing is, once you join our program, we also talk about what's the project cycle, like what exactly do you do when you go to the client's location, on what do you do, where do you start, how do the projects run, who does what, all that stuff will prepare you. By the time you're getting into the market, you are ready and well prepared. So here is one of the options on some of the setups that you have to do on day one to make the system actually work and to make it possible for you to create an invoice. So these are some of the setups. So what we will train you here is, if, say for example, in this list here, do you select automatic, do you select manual? What's the impact of selecting automatic versus manual, right? So this is on supplier number. So sometimes some companies, they want to use the supplier number that comes from the vendor. Sometimes some customers, some clients want to use a manual number. So they want to actually keep track of so if they want to use the supplier number that the supplier maybe has on their side of the record or things like that, then you can say manual. But a lot of times, a lot of people just want the system to generate a supplier number whenever the business creates a vendor. Then do you want it to just be a numeric number, so it's always a number, or do you want it to be alphanumeric? Most of the times I've used numeric, and these are the things I want. So if you choose alphanumeric, or if you choose just numeric only, then and you choose automatic, the system is going to automatically generate a number. So you cannot be able to have, so you won't have the option to key in an alphanumeric number, that kind of thing. Then how long do you want your number to be? And this actually matters because if you want to, if there's an existing interface, if there's an existing process that needs only 7 characters, then you want to put 7 here. But if you have another system, if you don't have any other restrictions, then you can put whatever number that the business needs, depending on what they're going to be using that number on. So those are some of the things that we discussed. So I just wanted to just give a quick look on just a view of what exactly is Oracle. So we can go into receivables so you can also see that. So these are all the modules that I had mentioned that are found within Oracle financials. I hope this is helpful in terms of being able to understand exactly how does this even look. And I'll keep posting more videos on the different capabilities and the different functions of Oracle Financials. But for right now, I would like to encourage you to go to our website, Oracle Training 101, and it's going to be in the description below.